We can't get up. I do want to say song YisraYah'ale, greetings, Shalom to the nation of Yah's elect. We're here on this fifth day eve to open wisdom and understanding unto YisraYah'ale concerning the great wisdom of Yah. I've had questions concerning the Mo'adim, the days, and because I have been gullible, I didn't know, but I knew that there were things that were wrong. I didn't know how to challenge them. And I began to search the book and material. Then I come to the conclusion that what we have done, I have for years. It is absolutely wrong, that I'm going to prove all things from the book. But before I began the process, I want to read an article from Yale University, from the library there. We understand that Yale is one of the most prestigious universities in the world, not just America. You go to what they call an Ivy League school, you qualify for a job anywhere in the world, period. It is the third largest institution, and these institutions were basically established by Jewish people. It is the third oldest university in America. In the 1700s, around 1701, it was established. I worked with one that his father was a very wealthy man, Jewish man, and he had graduated from Carnegie Mellon. Most people have never heard of that type of university. I want to read an article that is posted on Yale's website. We are a nation of people, we are very rebellious. If things don't go according to my ignorance, that is wrong. No, you're wrong. There is a preponderance of evidence, what I'm pointing out to you. This is how the article goes, Yale University Library, about the Hebrew calendar, Yale University Library. And I'm going to point out some things here on the chalkboards in a minute when I read this. It says, quote, the Jewish calendar derived from the ancient Hebrew calendar, comma, has remained unchanged since about AD, after death, 900. It is the official calendar of modern state of Israel, and is used by the Jewish people throughout the world as a religious calendar. And so they have fabricated much within the context of that calendar. But let me read, quote, the starting point of the Hebrew chronological or chronicle is the year of 3761 before the Common Era. The date for the creation of the world is described in the Old Testament. I don't know where that date is, but I know that the time is referenced there when he made man, Adam. And this is the catalyst that they say that the Jewish calendar is lunar solar. Quote, this is quoted from the scholarship of Yale University, whereby a lot of Jewish faculty and those in high position, and they're going to show favor toward the state of, quote, Israel. It is a lunar solar calendar. There's a comment there, but it tells us it is based, the foundational principle, the foundation It said based on lunar months of 29 days alternating with 30 days. And that's the way it is set up by the Most High. And then there is a quotation here. An extra month is intercalated every 3 years. I want to show us the example of that, how it operates. Every 3 years, based on a cycle. What cycle? And most of this commentary, they never tell you what the cycle is. It is called the Metonic. It is called the Metanech. I've got nearly 600 pages of scripture and scholarship of others that express what the Metonic or the Metanech cycle is. Listen to what they said. An extra month is intercalated, in essence, is added every 3 years. Every 3 years, there's an extra month. Based on this 19-year cycle, that's what it's based on, a 19-year cycle. Dates of the Jewish calendar are designed AM Latin Anno Muzai, the year of the world. And the BCE, before the common era of calendar, this is found there at Microsoft Encara online encyclopedia. So you certainly can get witness of what is written and what is established as a mainstream constitution that is based upon nothing but lies. It is not a principle. We're going to go farther tonight. I want to show us again. I'm going to move the board so I make sure that everything is seen. I have numbers and everything I have purchased that we could have put them up, but we didn't have time. Make sure you get the full of this, son. Do we have a black marker? Let me show us if you can see this. Can you see that? Is it seen? All right, let's go with the year of 2022 for the Passover. (2022). The date of that, say, I have all of this information, but from 2021 to 2022, there were 353 days of time based on the lunar cycle. 353 days passed from 2021 to 2022. And from 2022 to 2023, 23 days in that year consist of 354 days. Now, most of your leaders are afraid to allow themselves to be challenged. They're not going to speak honest with you because they are so full of their own prides, they cannot say that they are wrong. I am wrong about everything. Anytime I gloat in any kind of information, it was here before I was. So this is 2023. This is I got some sharp or big markers. These things not worth a dime here. 24. Can that be seen? 2024. Do you have one that's larger? Better wedge on that. I know I got them at home. This is no different than this one, but we'll see. 2024. This better. 2024. So from 2023, can that be seen? Okay. This is 2023. Can that be seen? From 2022, 2022, from 2021, from that to this date, there were 353 days past. We're going to get it right for you, my friends. We are all, and we're all very ignorant people. We can't lift ourselves up with some kind of pride. You don't know, you don't know. And that's factual. So from 2021, 2022, from 2022 to 2023 were 353 days. Now you, from 2023 to 23 was 354. Go and count the days. Count the days between your Passover celebration from the last one to this one. I know how it goes. And from 2023 to 2024, you're going to have 383 days. You're going to have that. And there's a reason why, just like they pronounce in the calendar every 3 years, see, 1, 2, every third year, your feast day will consist of either 383 days, 384 days, or 385 days. There are 2 lunar cycles that you 353, 354, or either 355. We're going to prove all things. And those dates cannot manifest themselves until after the vernal equinox is all tied into pagan rituals. It is nation. How can you have a 300? And there are calendars, I've searched many. And I'm going to post that so you can see there are calendars as low as 290 days a year. And then I believe that there may be 1 or 2 like in the 380s or 370s. May be that. You're going to have a time whereby this creation of calendars, it is absolutely wrong. It's either where I ask, and I've asked this question for many years, by those that reject the simple teaching. One that tells me, just look at the calendar. I do. We have watched the moon basically since we've been here. And even when we did not keep the feast days, we will recognize Pesach. But as far as the other, we didn't keep them. We will acknowledge them. But that it is a Shabbaton, a day of rest. And this is the calendar that you exercise, just like the writer here at Yale University. There must be an intercalary. There must be an extra whole month, because you're going to fall back 11 days from 2022 to 2023, or 2021 to 2022, 11 days. Then 11 days. So you have to make up that time you've lost, 22 days, and so you have to add the 11 plus a whole month, and then you began the process From that, you began to count the days. And so if that's the case, the whole feast day system is in a debacle. Men will not sit and discuss these things. They're cowardly. I'm no coward man. All I ask you to do is prove me wrong by Torah. Show me what the Torah tells you that this is the way it goes. I don't care who taught you. If it's your great-great-great-grandfather taught your great-grandfather, and your father being taught by that system, it's wrong. It is not right. It is a wrong paradigm. Which one is the year? Nation, listen. Count the days from your last Passover, your last one, you that are strangers to me, and see exactly how many days between your last one until this year. And you're going to find 383 days pass. Just look at the dates. You can do nothing when it comes to these days, not even Easter, Esther. It all must be after the vernal equinox. And I would have posted that tonight that you can get understanding of that. And so these are the days on this Yale University Library. It tells you an extra month is intercalated every 3 years. I discussed this with one. He was vehement in his passion. You're wrong. How am I wrong? When I can prove the number of days, I can't be wrong. Math is not wrong. 1 + 1 is 2. We're so egotistical and arrogant. We're afraid to be wrong. I have always said this. I am wrong about everything. Any time I will utilize a superficial righteousness of mine to promote me and my ignorance without the seal of Yah's approval, I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Anytime I think I am right, no, He is my righteous one. His Torah is my discipline, and that is what guides me. What has happened in this world, this generation, is insane. You cannot have 300. You do everything in the process of lunar days. And then you say it is a lunar solar calendar every 3rd year. Think about it. Examine it, and I beg of any of you all to prove me wrong. I'm going to teach this all through your feast lying days. It is one thing about those that call themselves Jews. Theirs will always be 1 month after yours. You will celebrate March. They will start in April. Fact of the matter. And that's the way it goes. I'm going to do a research and see how the historical first month with the Muslims. We read all kinds of articles. Because I know that this prototype that I was engaged in, it's a lie. And these men that call yourself leaders, they are liars. And when I say I challenge them, I would love to discuss this with any man. Your congregation, I don't mind you getting upset and angry with me. I get angry with me. But we cannot constantly, with persistence, fabricate this lie and say there is a 13th month in a year. You know it's evil. It's based upon nothing but lies. I have never in all my years found a 13th month. You don't even ask the question, how did the 13th month come about? No one taught me. I began years ago to research and draw. And I found out it was the metanic cycle. And I went in full steam ahead. I knew that people would disapprove of me. I don't care. They will segregate from me. I know this is right. I know his system is right. His people are scattered everywhere, all over the world, in every place, nation, under every skin disguise, the color. Oh, it's all of the Hebrew Israelite. Don't forget Hebrew Israelites. Your camp started with downgrading those on the continent of Africa. Dirty, stinking. You will not even let them have a plate at your cookouts. And now all of a sudden you're there in Africa? You say they're the Hebrew Israelites? His people are scattered everywhere. That's why he used the word Puds. Alexander Pushkin, Pushkin Square in Russia. What about those that are in Russia? You going after them? Stalin invited many people of my hill to Russia. Not because he could take advantage of them. He knew he could take advantage of their skills. Farmers, show them how to grow. And there are communities of people there, married into that community of Russians. How is that, my friend? How have you turned your concept, that's all it is to me, around? That now on the continent of Africa, I must say this, it is so insane, disingenuous and stupid, that here these people have been brought into captivity, they ran, they rode down the Nile, and they scattered themselves in the thickness into every nation, every country that's on that continent. That's what I call it. And they embraced them. And they joined the communities. I have hundreds of pages on things like that I have discussed and discovered, especially with the Chinese and all. You find there are those in China, they're blacker than me. And I know I'm pretty rich in the blackness, all right? You men, you're going to have to change your hearts and stop telling the people the lies. This is a form just like Easter. And we're going to see that a little later on. It's based on the same principles as Easter. And the feast days and Easter fall within the parameter and the proximity of each other. It does, nation. They simply intercalate days into their process. And that's a fact. Can we get the dates of the equinox up and the feast days? If we can get both of those up, equinox and feast days, I don't have to be on the camera, son. And I got these dates from like 20 the year. I can go online. I have it. And I have the feast days up until, I have them as far as 2050. Because they go with the equinox, they must do that. Just like Easter. They can tell you every Sunday that Easter is going to fall on. Every Sunday. 50 years from now, they can tell you today. Just when they identify what they call the vernal, the spring equinox. It's not difficult. And if you can see, look, that's 2019. Let's start at 2022. 2023. And we can see that the equinox, that in 2023 is March 20. It is the March equinox. Every feast day must come after the equinox. It cannot come before, but it must come after those days. And we can see here how that 2024, we see what it says here. It's 383 days. 383 days will pass. You that celebrated this year from your last year, is 383 days this year. Some 384, because there is no consistency among any of them. Jews, you got all kinds of sects of Judaism, but they basically fall under this concrete law, and they tend to abide by the same rule of law. Hebrew Israelites, they all got their own rules. Their own rules. That's what they have. These feast days, you can see in 2024 that the vernal equinox will fall on the 24th, 2020. They have added the day in that. And you will find most people, those that identify with Hebrew Israelitism, their feast day will come right after that. It will be in the March time frame. About March, I know that the last one I looked at was March the 23rd. And I tried to explain to the person from your last year feast to that what consists of a year. It was somewhat 383, 384. And the friend was offended at me. Very offended. And the only response the person had, just count, look for the calendar. I do it every month. Got pictures of the renewed moon for many years on my cell phone. I do that. That has nothing to do with a 383-day year. As all scholarship tell you, something is wrong with us. We're so arrogant we think that I know. You don't know, my friend. Our forefathers, they meant well, but they had a plethora of ignorance. They didn't know. And they were not talking, they may have been talking to their God, but they were not talking to Yah. How does the voice of Yah sound? Women say, I talk to Yah, he talks to me. What does his voice sound like? Your voice, a female's voice? That's the only way it sounds. His voice thunder like the thunderstorm. He doesn't speak in no putrid of a voice. Just pray. Well, I do pray, and I know what is righteous. He that knoweth to do righteous, and doeth it not, it is a violent evil sin. I know what to do. I know the righteousness of Yah. I've never heard him talk to me. His word speaks with volume, profoundly, and I simply believe. I don't care what I understand of that. I believe. I believe. You can see the dates of the equinox in every year from 2024 to 2029. And they basically all fall on March 20th. Go to the internet. I thought I had I simply just put the years apart or the dates apart from that. Your next year feast days would be 355, 26, 354, and then 385 the following year. You can only get this April or March time frame only by adding an extra month. You see, 11 days short, count the days from 365, from 355, that would be 366. But yet the next year, 355, next is 354, so that breaks it back down. You lose a day. And that's how that is done. So they add an entire month. And you that have been around just for a minute or two, every third year they would tell you this. I've been around too long. They did not find barley in the land they call YisraYah'ale. No barley found. So they're going to have to wait till the next month. This is deception of nothing but putrefied lies. Ask your leader the question. Count it with him. Are you afraid that his summation is wrong? I have no problem with someone correcting me. Or you arrogant react, no, I know that this is right. We have been beguiled and taught wrong. I know that, nation. I have here the different days and the feast dates of many. I got feast dates up until 2050. I got hundreds of pages just on this subject. I got 500 pages of studying and drawing from the plethora of volume of things on the internet. And they all concur with each other. They all speak the same thing. You Hebrew Israelites, your design for your feast days, I don't care how you do it, is no different than the white man or the Jew man. You identify yourself as Jews. I don't find the word in Torah. I will not identify myself with a term that is not even found in the book. Now you're either of Yehuda, Yehudem, or Ephraim. Which one? I know my heritage. Well, I don't know mine. In that regard, I know I'm a elect seed of Yah. I don't know. When I was born, they put the wrong birth date of my birth because the doctor did not care. And my mother would always tell me, that's not your date of birth. Your birthday is on this date. When I went down years ago to get a birth certificate, it was an older Caucasian woman. She was very pleasant. And she said to me the date that was put, I said, ma'am, my mother birthed me. And she knew the agony of the pain that she endured. She would never forget that date that I was brought from her loins. She says, that's not my birthday. My birthday is this date. She said, all right, sir, I'll change it. And that's what she did. There was not, 40s and 50s, there was not much care for people that looked like me. And you know the system was based upon that. We had scholarship among us in our community, but these things, we learned them outside the parameter of the community. And that's just a fact. Show me any of you, please help me. I beg for your help. Let everything about me be wrong. Show me how. And where there is an intercalating of one entire month, that's the only way you get back to what you call Abib, every year. You spend a 353, 354, and then you got a 383 year, that's factual. Are you afraid to count it? I said that to one, and the person became ballistic. I simply asked for the days of your feast for the last 3 years because I knew the summation. I didn't start this a year ago. I started this many years ago. I was too afraid. There were people that came to test you from all over, from the islands, all over the United States. They did. And we will have some tremendous feast days. We will hear from them. And when I began to go the right direction, tell them to explain to you how do we get to every year. You must see a 13th moon. And there is no 13th month in Yah's time. Make me a liar. I have no compunction with being a liar. Let every man be a liar, but let Yah be true. And that's the fact of the matter. I want to read some of this article. Let me read this here. It's called from Wikipedia, the encyclopedia. And I know there are those that will say, oh man, Wikipedia is a forest. That's not true. There's a vetting. There's a process. You have scholarship, writers. You have men and women of every degree that search the avenue of that knowledge. A man simple like me can do that. And so Wikipedia is not accepted in universities and colleges of cert. But yet it states the same thing that Britannical, World Encyclopedia, identical to the same. And that's what I'm going to do next time. Draw from nothing but encyclopedias and show you they all say the same thing. That's on Wikipedia. All of them. And so you discredit Wikipedia? No. That used to be a time you could go to the Harvard University Library. It was free. Now they all charge. I do pay, send an offering or a gift once a year for Wikipedia to help them. I do. That's one thing, because I utilize it. I use the whole source of what is written on the World Wide Web. Different scholars of different countries. I want to read this from Wikipedia, free encyclopedia. It talks about the Lubavitch, and the Lubavitch redirected here. For the Russian village associated with Chabad, there's a website. And I will bring it out in detail because Chabad says the same thing Wikipedia. Everything that I speak, Chabad tells you that because it is a website that's ran by the Lubavitch from Russia. And every Jew utilizes what's there to facilitate them. It is called Chabad. I have emailed some of the professors and the schools and all with this question. Answer this. And my response for them was send us a gift. At least open the door that I can know that there will be some kind of information you will share with me. I've called Yeshiva University there in New York. Well, send a gift. Okay, who you talk to. If you get a chance to talk to them, you got to send money. I understand that. It takes money, period, to run this course. It takes money for me to be here, not a salary. But it costs time, effort, and energy. So the Lubavitch, which I found there, is a village in Russia associated with Chabad, Chabad. It is enunciated Chabad. Go on the internet and search it out. I like it because it tells the truth. All we know that is, we do it like this. You do as well, Hebrew Israelites and all. It calls it Lubavitchai Runesansky district in Smolensk. Excuse me, nation. Ablas. For other users, see Chabad disambiguous. To clarify something that is ambiguous. Disambiguous. In essence, there is no ambiguity within the statements, the literature that the Lubavitch have orchestrated. They tell you here, especially providing or considering additional information. It talks about the Hasidics, the Hasidic groups as well, as one of the largest Jewish religious organization in the world. Not Jewish, not religious organization, but Jewish. It's not the largest religious organization in the world numerically, but among Jews, it's the largest. Unlike most Haredi group, which are self-segregating, Chabad mainly operates in a wider world and caters to the secularized, one that is secular, Jews. By Rabbi Jerusalem of Liada, name Chabad is an acronym formed from the three Hebrew words Chokhmah, Bina, I say it, Da'at, wisdom, learning, and knowledge. These are the words. The first three Sephirot, rots, are the Kabbalah or Kabbalistic, and I do identify them for you in the red text, so many of these. It is a medieval and modern system of Jewish theosophy and mysticism. That's what it is. And that has nothing to do with religion. Nothing. A principle. Tree of life, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, Da'at, which represent the intellectual and the Kabbalist underpinning. This is the root foundation of Kabbalism. And that's what you practice, a form of Kabbalah. That's all it is, period. And who are the leaders that can help me? I want to be helped. But don't come with no jive with me. I'm a student of life. No, I'm not a professor. I'm a student. It is one thing about a student that is aggressive. That student will learn and take heed. But you can't pull no wool over his eyes. Period. And they're pulling the wool over the eyes of the people for a reason. And I haven't said this in many years. They don't give a nickel's worth of dog's meat. Bring the money. Give me the money. Let me say this to you. Go online and look at UPIC. Just go to YouTube and look at their feast days, how they talk. Pesach, how the women dress. And they tell you, if you're looking for that which is a dog, we got him here. To exploit your sisters. They don't give a nickel's worth of rat's meat about them. They call them the word that is less than a dog. And all those little boys, no man would talk like that. You see, a mature man, he stands with this perseverance, great strength. I can go online right now and show you. You can find it. The feast days. And see how they talk. And see the kinds of superlatives they use. When you can call your sister, you say, a hoe and a dog of a hoe. That you use that kind of phraseology to express what they are. We got it here. And they use that word, what they talk about is not a cuss word. But why should you say that about those that you say you love? These are some evil people. I am YisraYah'ale, which represent the intelligence of those. The name Lubavitch derived from a town is which the now dominant line of leaders raised from 1813 to 1915. Those are the leaders that dominate. I don't even think they have no leader today, because when Menachem Jefferson the first, he died, he ran that from the 1800s until the 50s. And then after he passed away, there was another, his name was Menachem Jefferson as well. And I would watch them, the feast days, Hanukkah and all of that, especially Hanukkah, because we didn't have access in those days to a system like we have today. PBS, you will see them pan from LA to that Tel Aviv to Russia, from Russia to Yugoslavia. They would show Jews all over the world. Back to New York, back to Phoenix, California, Florida, they would gather. And in those days, you know, the equipment or even the visual, it was not like it is today. You could just go online from Russia and broadcast to us here in a minute. It wasn't like that. But I would see how that old man, he looked like he was about 4'5". He was a smallish of a man, long white beard. And they would sing, no, that's the weird sound. I don't know what they were saying. Amen. This old man, Jefferson, would get up, whoop, everything. You could hear a rat urinate on cotton. The old man will walk to the podium, stroke his beard and everywhere. And they will pan and show that same kind of activity all over the world. D.C., with the Jews and those of that religious format where they would gather. Germany, everywhere. Especially Russia and all of that. And I would be intrigued with it because I was taught a doctrine. I've never called myself a Christian, but it came from that relationship. No Baptist or Methodist. And I would watch that and I would be engaged. Every year I would. I would come home and that would just, I would be engaged into that. I would look. Because I found it very intriguing. And as I grew older, searched the scripture when I could afford those things that would assist me. I've only had 3 things. I've always had a concordance. I always used the strong concordance. I've always had me a nice dictionary until 1982 when YouTube and when the internet exploded. I was one of the first ones in Charlotte to have the internet. It was a landline. And I could go to Harvard's University Library. I could go to any library and look and research. Now you can't do that. It was free back then. They want the money now. Let me move a little quicker. It says, founded in the 1775-ish, of Shabbat, either disapproved of merge into the Lubavitch line. In the 30s, the 6th Rebbe of Chabad. Here he is here. Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson. This was the one that I would watch. Him moved to the center of the Chabad movement from Russia to Poland. And the outbreak of World War II, he moved to the center movement of the United States. I don't know if this was the first one. And then it says this is the one here. Between 1951 and 1994, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson transformed the movement into one of the most widespread Jewish movement in the world. I will watch that on PBS. I would watch this man, how the crowd would be mesmerized. When I got a little more mature and older, they did not allow you to write or anything or record, but yet they let the world see it. They would. And he had what he called his rabbis. And this will remember 10 minutes of the precise words. Had an order them. And they could not miss a vowel or a comma. And after the Shabbat, they were all, and everything had to be in this cohesive form. Everything. And that's how they did it. Under his leadership, Chabad established a large network of institutions that seek to satisfy the religious, social, and humanitarian need of Jews across the world. It is a website that I would recommend you visiting. It tells you everything about them. Everything. Their lies, they tell you, but they got reason. It says Chabad institutions provide outreach to those that are not affiliated, unaffiliated Jews. Not only that, a humanitarian aid to religious, culture, and educational activity. During his life and after his death, Shirisan had been believed by some of his followers to be the Mashiach, was in his own position and matter debated among scholars. Messianic ideology in Chabad sparked controversy in various Jewish community. It is still an unresolved matter following his death. Following that old man's death, I was talking to my Isha today. I said when the last Jefferson died, they said no successor was appointed as a new central leader. The global population of Hasidic Jews has estimated to be between 90, just say 100,000. A small percentage of our people that control every kind of activity among those that are Jews. I don't care whether they're Orthodoxy. I don't care whether they're Reformed Jews or what. This, what Chabad says, and they come from every stray of what they call Judaism. They come there. No leader. And when Jefferson died, and he died, it's not that many years ago. I've been here since he died. He was an old man. Beard as white as snow. Wearing those black fedora hats. You know they were $200 or $300 just to make one. Fact of the matter. Accounting for 13% of the global Hasidic population. However, up to 1 million Jews are estimated to attend Chabad service at least once a year. That's worse than Christianity. They will go at Easter, Christmas. Many will go at their Thanksgiving, a day of death, robbery. What an atrocity of death. Killing those that lived in this land, Shalom among each other. And they butchered them with diseases and killed them. When they were red, people know they look like me. Just like me. And their minds have been polluted so in this generation. And that's just a fact. Why do you think on these reservations, many of those that identify as being in the drunkards, abuse, you think that those that look like me, they own their own reservation, poverty, no wealth like it is among people among you. Because we have learned, as this old white man said to me, people, you folks of color, you black folks, you've learned just to be as evil as white folks. We don't want to deal with the facts of things. We learned the white man's way. And that's a fact of the matter. And that's why you with your false times and season, those men that look like you, if you look like me, they did not come up with that. They may have been of the house of YisraYah'ale, but they did not. Many could not read. Many could not read. They could not read. Many did not even have scripture. In a 2020 study of the Pew Research Center found that 16% of the American Jews participate in this service at least semi-regularly, 16% of the SHABBAT service. The SHABBAT movement was established after the first partition of Poland in the town of Pinska, and Governorates Russia Empire in the 1775 by Shinirison Zalman, a student of Dawid Mitzaretzi, the successor of Hasidim founder, or the Hasidic founder, Rabbi Israel Be'al Shimtav Rabbi Dawid Shinish, and the second Rabbi movement, and the movement of the YHWH is currently in Russia. Let me proceed a little further with this. We're just going to be here 1 hour. The movement was centered in YHWH for centuries until the fifth Rabbi Shalom Dawid left the village in 1950 and moved to the city of Rostov-on-Don during the interwar period, followed by the Bolshevik persecution and Chabad, the Lubavitch movement, under the sixth Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, was the center of the Riga, and then in Warsaw. And the outbreak of World War II led the sixth Rabbi to move to the United States. Since 1940, the movement is centered. Isn't that amazing? Right there in Crown Heights neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, you see all those Jews with the big long beards and the Yiddish look, and everybody in black, the women. And those long beards, heads covered in all of that, those are what they call the Yiddish Jews. And everything resonates from Crown Heights there in New York. That's the center of all what is called the Yiddish, the Lubavitch Jews in this nation. And these are the ones that dictate. They don't believe in no Hamashiach. These are the ones that dictate and tell you it must be an Abib or Aviv. That may be my next teaching, what Aviv and Abib truly mean and what it states to the people. He brought them out under great derision and great pain, fleeing for their lives. That's why this is the time that he commands us, to eat the unleavened bread. Because they had to leaven bread and let it sit for days, he said, no, you go and you eat nothing. Bread that is unleavened. And that was the process because they feared those of Mizraim. And not only that nation, as they went from that land, everyone did not go together. There were those that strayed off and went to other parts of that great continent. People of my hue have been taught. As a child, they showed us these jungle crazy people, Tarzan and all that bull jive, and all the matinees and all of the theater has been created by those that identify as Jews. That's just factual. It's factual. I read partial of the article that hip-hop is really going down. Why? Because all of those hip-hop stars are broke. They have no money. They're broke, and 99% of them are run by Jewish agencies, and that's a fact. They rob them of their little monies, singing crazy, stupid things, robbing the young women of my hue and others. They have become a a harem and harem of harlotry. And that's just a fact. There is no 383, 384, or 385 year. Challenge me, my friends. Are you afraid? You that say that, just look at the moon. Do look at the moon, my friends. I know you're absolutely wrong. I speak to you. Who are you talking to? Don't worry. And I would challenge any man. Let's sit down. I can prove what I say, but you cannot prove that. You add an extra month every third year. Every 3 years, you must intercalate, not a day or week, day here and day there. You must intercalate by a whole month, because your time will go back like my time. One said, I saw you all had it in this month, February. I saw you had it there. I knew something was wrong. No, something was right. It was right. The only way you get back to March or April is you add an entire month. Let's debate it. Show me how. You counted 12, you saw 12 moons? You saw that? Well, how do you get another 30 days unless there's a 13th month? Every scholarship points this out. We're so ignorant based on our emotions and feelings, we don't want to face it. So we get mad and upset. We don't want to deal with the facts. I found that to be a juvenile individual. Yah will tell you, Yah has spoken, and he spoke by the power of YHWH. These men are not hearing the voice of Yah. They're liars. And I'll debate any man on that. I tell you what, you organize a teaching on the voice of Yah, and I'll organize one. How about that? You're hearing nothing but your own voice speak, and it's always speaking what you want to hear. Yah speaks to us, he's going to tell you a wretched thing, Dawid, you violent, evil, sadistic beast of darkness. When was the last time there was a thorough repentance? And that's just a fact, nation. Speak to me sweet things, smooth things. That's what we want. But we're afraid to tell the people the truth. I'm not afraid. If Yah is with me, I don't care who's against me. I will stand on this truth. There is no 383, 384, or 385 year in Yah's time. You created that, Jewish people. You bought into that. You that call yourself Hebrew Israelites, that are dark-skinned. The complexity of Yah's people is from color like this to color like that. It is a rainbow of spectrum of his people. Fact of the matter, we must be rebirthed and born again. You're not going into the kingdom no other way. I'm going to cease here. We say shalom to you all. Join us for Shabbat. That will be a profound teaching. I want to continue in this power of the warrior, his defense. And he defends nothing as he's set as a soldier for Yah. He will die for him. He will die for the Most High Yah. And that's a fact. But I want to engage with you about feast days and how your leader is wrong. Ask him or tell him about this man. I will engage any man. I will sit down with him at my table. I'll come and sit down at your table. I will. I will. I've done that before. I debated this beast in Tennessee. All the people came. I didn't need anybody to stand with me. They sat on this side. I was a pariah. And the only reason all didn't sit on that side is because there was quite a crowd. The moderator I said, sir, you're not going to do that with me. And even the person that I debated on polygyny, polygamy, or polyandry, all the P's. I know about them all. And nothing but whoremongers and dogs. That's all they are. You got all the wives. What about the men here? They all got wives like you? That many? That's crazy. It is insane. You must be on Viagra. I'm all natural, Captain. Don't need no Viagra, no dope or nothing. But Yah has given me that virile nature that I maintain what I'm supposed to do. Barak Nation, we will see you on Shabbat. And it's going to be a dynamic, wonderful teaching. I say to you all, my friends, and even my enemies, Barak, Shalom, Shalom, Barak, Shalom. All right, getting old.